How difficult is it to write a script to a deadline?
I think for me, the best way of approaching it was to break it up into a lot of little deadlines so that the one big deadline at the end, when you actually have to have the product finished, is not so intimidating. So that if you're putting together say a current affairs piece in the space of 2 or 3 hours, if you realise that after an hour you need to have 1 or 2 interviews already completed, perhaps even grabs isolated, an idea of the structure that in your head about how you want to go with the story, but maintaining flexibility because the interview talent has said something unexpected, and you might have plotted out your story and then you go off in a different direction because that's the more interesting thing that's been said. So I think that if you break it up into little things, little bits, it's not so intimidating. But that all being said, there is nothing like a deadline to focus your mind, because nobody wants to be yelled at by their bosses. Nobody wants to feel that they've let down the team. And if you miss your deadline in journalism, you're ultimately letting down the team.
Mm. You've done a lot of subbing of other people's writing. Tell me, what do you think are the most common mistakes that people make when they write for radio?
I think one thing that is often done is that the lines, the linking lines that you use in between grabs, it's an absolute mistake to say the same thing before you hear it. And you often hear experienced journalists, even sometimes, who will say what you're about to hear in the grab.
The exact same word.
Yeah, either the same words or the same phrase, or paraphrase it. Really, the art of being able to join together the various bits and pieces to form a nice, good current affairs package is about moving it along, moving the story along, so that the lines in between the grabs shouldn't just be in preparation for what you're about to hear, but should actually move the story along, move us to the next bit, the next angle, the next bit.
Is it difficult to write for radio?
I don't find it is. I think that you, like anything, riding a bike, the more practice you have, the better you get. But I think once you get into the swing of things, it's not so much a formula, but there are some rules. You want to have audio of other people early up in the piece. You don't want to have great vast slabs of you talking. As the reporter, you want to hear from the talent as well, and you want to mix that up, and you want to mix up the time that's allocated to each, both you and to the talent. And the other thing, of course, is that you want to include some of your questions, and hopefully the questions that you ask as a journalist are the questions that the listener is also asking in their head before you ask them. So I think that's important too.
How important is structure in writing?
I think it's really important, because if you one thing that was taught to me really as a cadet journalist was you must write your lead right at the beginning. Don't write a piece of radio and then go, well, what's my lead? Because I think if you do it that way around, the piece of radio that you've written won't actually be as coherent. So you've got to think through right at the beginning, what is my lead? What is the bit of information that is going to grab the listener, hopefully, right at the beginning, so that they're going to keep listening after the presenter has introduced the work.